Let's begin by discussing the taskbar down on the bottom. You'll see here the taskbar consists of my start menu, also my search box, as well as a number of different apps that I have down on the bottom for quick and easy access to them. Well, the good news is the taskbar is very customizable. So for example, if I wanted to have my Microsoft Edge window moved over to the right-hand side, I can very easily do that. Another example is, let's say, for example, I did not want my Microsoft Store icon there on my taskbar anymore at all. I can very easily right-click on that and choose Unpin from Taskbar. You'll also note that when I right-click on these icons, I get a whole bunch of other additional tasks associated with that application. But I'm going to go ahead and unpin this. Now, the next thing you may want to do is customize the taskbar as a whole. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our taskbar settings. So we do that by simply right-clicking in a gray area down here, and you'll see my first choice here is my taskbar settings. Now, that's going to take us to the settings as a whole of Windows 11. So I come to this, and you'll notice here I'm in my personalization section and the subsection of taskbar. Now within this section, I have a bunch of other subsections, my taskbar items, my system tray icons, as well as a few others down below. Now from here, I can adjust what taskbar items I want to show or not show, or show them in different ways. So currently, I have my search option set to be the search box. Well, let's go ahead and tinker with that a little bit. I click on that, and you'll notice here I can choose hide, and then now that goes away. Maybe you don't want it there anymore, or maybe you want it to be a little bit smaller with just a magnifying glass. You can see here is another one, and then finally back to my original one. Very easy to do. You'll also notice here is this option for Copilot. Copilot is Microsoft's artificial intelligence tool, and you'll see it's down there in the lower right. If you're choosing not to use that at all, you can very easily turn that off. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on again. Your task view allows you to multitask and see all of your open applications all in one window. Some people may prefer that. And then finally, you have your widgets down below. So if you hover your mouse over it, it's going to show you a whole bunch of recent news items, your stocks, weather, etc. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And then you can see here, I can turn that on or off. I'm going to keep it on for the remainder of this lesson. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you'll see some other options here. For example, your taskbar behaviors. Well, if I click on that, you'll notice here I have the option to choose my alignment. So if I change that from center to left, notice how everything shifts over to the left, and then I'll go ahead and hit on center. Now you can see it comes right back to center. And then I also have the option to automatically hide my taskbar. That's going to give me a little more screen real estate on my screen. Therefore, when I choose that, it then goes away unless I move my mouse back over it and it reappears. I'm going to go ahead and disable that and bring it back so it's no longer hidden. You'll also notice this option for other system tray icons. You'll see down in the lower right, those are my system tray icons. If I wanted to add on more for quick and easy access to some of these other tools within Windows, I can very easily do that. So let's go ahead and get out of this. Now let's go ahead and explore the Start menu. When I click on the Start menu, you'll notice here I have two sections. I have my Pin section and I have my Recommended section. Well, my Pin sections are all about giving me access to different apps as well as potential different folders. And then down below, this is Windows' way of telling us, hey, listen, we've seen that you've been working on these different documents. We're going to give you quick and easy access to them. If I wanted to see all my apps from here, I can simply click on All Apps. You'll see this is going to have all my apps right here. Now, from here, you'll notice that if I wanted to right-click on any of these, it's going to give me a whole bunch of options here to unpin from Start. I can go to More, see some other options right there, uninstall it, as well as see some recent documents I've been working on, again, for quick and easy access. You'll also notice that there's these little pins that pop up every once in a while, allowing me to pin this so it remains there until I unpin it. Let's go ahead and go back. And now let's see what happens when we go over here to Recommended. I'll click on More, and you'll see I get something very similar. And then if I right-click on this, you can see I have other options here, such as removing from my list. Let's go ahead and go back. And now what's really nice, just like how we saw with our taskbar, we have the ability to also move these around. So for example, if I want to have the snipping tool to be the first option, I can just simply click and drag that, and then notice how that just shoves over, and now I can drag that to be the first thing. Another option I have here is to group these icons. So you'll notice here how Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel are all part of Microsoft Office. I'd really like to group them, thereby saving a lot more screen real estate, but then also categorizing them. So very simply, all I do is click and drag, and then until they're right on top of each other, I let go. Click and drag, and then wait for it to be on top of it, and now I have this thing that are all grouped together. Notice it's now called folder. I'm very simply just going to click on it now and then edit the name, and I'm just going to type out MS Office, and then very simply click away, and then I have a category. Now let's go a little bit deeper into our start menu by seeing how we can customize that even further. And that's as simple as another right click. I right click, and you can see here I have my start settings available to me. Now that's going to take me once again to my Windows 11 settings in my personalization section. And you'll see here I have this start section, and they do give you some options in terms of how you might want to present your start menu with more pins or more recommendations. And we've already explored that, so it's really up to you depending on, do you have more apps that you want to work with, or you have more recommendations with working with different documents. Kind of nice. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you have these little toggle switches that's going to allow you to show your recently added apps if you want that, or you can just very easily turn that off. Again, giving you a little more screen real estate for more important things. Do you want to show most used apps? Again, you can turn that on or off. And of course, you can go ahead and explore some of these other ones like showing recently opened items, jump list, and your file explorer. Your jump list, you're going to see that when you right click on them, you'll see some other options there. I do want to see my file explorer, which we're going to examine just a little bit further in a little bit. And then let's come down here to folders. And this is one of, I think, the more valuable parts of this, because this is going to give me quick and easy access to certain folders I may not have easy access to ordinarily. So when I click on this, you're going to see how all of these are now unchecked. Meaning, you know what, I'd like to get to my settings very quickly. Well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. My File Explorer, I want to get to that quickly through the Start menu, as well as my documents and my downloads. Notice you have other options here down below, but I'm pretty happy with that. So let's just see what that's going to look like now. I click on the X to get out of it. I'm going to click back on my little start icon there, and you'll notice that way down on the bottom now is my documents, my downloads, my File Explorer, and my settings. Pretty cool. Again, a lot of customization options to give you more control. I'm going to go ahead and click away from that, and now let's see how we can customize and personalize our desktop. So very simply now I'm going to right click again, but I'm going to right click here on the desktop in an empty space. And you'll see that when you right click, you get a lot of really helpful options like how you want to view your icons, maybe you want to sort them, you want to create new folders, etc. But I'm going to come over here to personalize, and this takes me once again into my settings for my personalization options. The first section up on top here is the ability to select a theme. Believe it or not, you are working within themes within Windows 11. And that's going to change maybe your background, different colors, potentially different fonts, etc. And it's going to do sort of an overarching change. So let's say, for example, I'm going to choose this one, dramatically different. And you'll see here how everything changes. My taskbar changes, my desktop changes, all kinds of different colors now change. Let's try another one. Click on that one, and then notice how everything again changes. Now, if you wanted to get even more custom control, you can change your background image to be something else on your desktop. So when I choose that, if I wanted to make it so it's a different picture altogether, or maybe a solid color, maybe a slideshow, Windows also offers a different spotlight for a variety of different images day by day. Or you can even choose your own photo from your computer and then make that be your background. Let's go ahead and get back out of this. Let's go back to personalization up on top here. You can also change your lock screen images, apps, and animation. So if I click on that here, you'll see here, this is what it's going to look like when you are logging in with your username and password. And again, they're going to give you all kinds of other options. How do you want to see that when you get to this screen? Let's go ahead and go back to personalization. And you'll see here they give you another chance to then do some customization on your start menu and your taskbar as well. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of this. Now let's go ahead and explore this area in the lower right hand corner known as my Action Center. When I click on that, you'll notice here that all of these little icons appear, allowing me to then control a lot of my different settings very quickly and easily. So notice here I can access my Wi-Fi information, I can add Bluetooth items right from here, but also see what Bluetooth items are now accessible. I can turn on airplane mode, battery saver, etc. I can also control the brightness of my screen from here, as well as my audio. You'll also notice that to the lower right hand side here is the ability to change the audio output for you in case you're working with more than one audio output like a speaker, headphones, etc. Let's go ahead and go back one step. And now what I'm going to do next is show you how you can customize this, because certain things you may not want, certain things you may want. So let's go ahead and click on my little pencil icon here. And you'll see here that as soon as I do that, they're giving me the ability to pin or unpin certain elements that are in this section. So let's say I do not want to project anymore. I can very easily uncheck that. I'll go ahead and unpin this one. Very good. And you know what? I never use my rotation lock. I'm going to go ahead and unpin that as well. Now, if you change your mind or there's certain things that you want to see on there that are not, you can always click on Add. And you can see here, you know what? I am projecting a lot. Let's go ahead and click on Project, and now you'll see that there. Let's go ahead and do one more. And this time, I'm going to choose Nightlight. You see, okay, very good. And there that is. And now I'll have access to them. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and click on Done. Love that. And then I'll click away. Now let's go ahead and talk about your notifications. So if I simply click over here on the date and time, you'll notice here that I get my notifications way up on top, but it's also showing me a little sub window down below where some of my notifications may be hiding. So very easily from here, you can clear all your notifications. You can even turn on Do Not Disturb if you like. And then you can also go deeper into your notification settings. Let's go ahead and click on that. And you can see here, from here, you can say, hey, listen, I don't want to get any notifications. Or you can even time some of your notifications with different times of the day, having full control over when you get notifications. Maybe it's during meetings, you don't want to see certain notifications, etc. Let's go ahead and get out of this and come right back here, and let's just see what we have down below, which is also our calendar. Now for some of you, your calendar may be minimized, so let's go ahead and trigger that. And you're going to see it may look like this, thereby allowing me to see some of my notifications a little bit more. So if you're not seeing that, you can always click on this little up arrow and you'll see there is my calendar. Down below is the ability to give you some focus time. Well, you know what? I want to have just kind of 30 minutes of no notifications at all. I can simply click on focus, or I can even make this 90 minutes, and then I can say focus, and then I get no notifications. So therefore, I'm not distracted. I am focused. Okay, let's go ahead and click back onto the desktop. Now let's go ahead and talk about how file management works within Windows 11. So I'm going to get to my file managers just by simply clicking on this little yellow icon here called my File Explorer. So I choose that, and now you'll notice here I'm inside of this File Explorer window. Now the File Explorer window is broken down into many different components. Let's start off with here on the left-hand side where I have some default folders like my desktop, my downloads, documents, etc. So if I click on any one of these, I'll go over here to my documents, you'll notice here I have some individual folders here. Now, if you wanted to create a folder, they make it nice and easy. Just very simply click on New, and then Folder, and then just start typing. I'll just go ahead and type out Client XYZ, and then I tap on the Enter key, and now I've got a new folder. Now, Windows 11 has a toolbar on top that is mostly icon driven, if you see up on the top here. And as you hover your mouse over it, you get these nice little tooltips of cut, copy, paste, rename, share, as well as delete. So if you wanted to use any of those things, you can do that. And also, right-clicking does go a long way. If you right-click on any of these, you're going to get a lot of those same options right there, cut, copy, rename, delete, as well as some other options you may want to work with here, including pin to start. So if I'm really using this one a lot, and I always want it to be on my start menu, I can do that. Let's go and explore what that's going to look like. So I have this Client XYZ. I want to pin this to my start menu. And then when I choose that and I go to my start menu, I want you to notice that it's not readily available because there are kind of two windows hiding here. So if I click on this little down arrow, you will now notice that there's this Client XYZ folder that was not visible before. So if I'd like to make this up on top, all I need to do is right click on it and say Move to Front. And now there it is in the beginning. And of course, I can also drag this over here and make this number 3 if I'd like to. So again, a lot of control. Now let's go ahead and right click on this one more time. And this time I'm going to say Pin to Quick Access. Well, notice on the left-hand side, there's nothing labeled as Quick Access. But when I choose this, you'll see here it now appears over here with this little pin right next to it. So that's going to give me quick access to that folder. So this is going to be really great for folders that you work with all the time. Let's go ahead and now open up to one of these folders that have files in them. I choose that, and in this case, I'm going to again right-click on this. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to say Add to Favorites. So when I choose that, again, nothing appears to happen unless I go over to here to my Home tab over here. And now you'll notice that I have a Favorites section right here. And then now notice there's the option that I just added onto it. And I have a whole bunch of other favorites down below. Okay, so again, it's about efficiency for you to be able to control your productivity and your tools that you want to work with quickly and easily. Let's go back to my documents. Now let's go ahead and talk about searching within Windows 11. Well, if you click over here in the upper right, you'll notice here is this search documents. So very easily now I can just type out the word client and then hit enter, and now notice how everything appears here that has the word client in it. Now let's go ahead and go over here to the search window down below, and I can very easily type out the client here, and you'll notice how this is another way to do this. Now one thing that's really interesting and very helpful within the search menu is that I can click on this little right arrow, and this is going to show me all kinds of information about it, including its location and when it was last modified. Again, so pretty neat there. Searching is very powerful and a lot faster than it used to be. Let's go ahead and click away. And now let's talk about the different views we have within our File Explorer. Right now, if I click on View, you'll notice here that my view is currently set to be Details. Well, if I want to make these larger, I can very easily choose Extra Large Icons, and that comes in nice and big. And then you'll also see that I get a nice little glimpse into some images that I have there as well. So let's go ahead and open up these dog walker docs. And it does go back to my detailed view, so I'm going to click back on extra large icons, and now we'll be able to see not only my image a little bit bigger, but all of my individual documents. Now when I click on this document, you'll notice over here on the right hand side, I have this details pane now available to me, showing me all kinds of information about that particular document. If yours is not visible, you can always click on details, and now you can see you have all this helpful information available to you. I'm going to go ahead and return back to my details view here, and then close out details, and then I'm back. The last thing I want to talk about here are some really helpful settings and how we get to our settings. So if you're not seeing settings down below in the lower right hand side because you didn't add it in there, the easiest way to get to it is through the search. And the search not only searches your files and folders, but your entire computer, including your settings. So I'm just going to go ahead and just type out SET, and then you'll notice here how settings pops right up. And now this is taking me to my home settings. Now the way that the settings is set up is all by different categories over here on the left hand side. So if you're interested more in looking at your system settings, you can go ahead and explore what all these are, like your sound and your display, even your power and your battery. And if you wanted to see how much space you have and what's using up space on your computer, you can go over here to storage. Let's say you're adding on some Bluetooth devices. You can very easily add on a Bluetooth device from here, as well as your printers and scanners. You can even see what printers and scanners you currently have just by coming onto these, no problem. And if you want to explore your network settings like your Wi-Fi, etc., all these things, this is the place to go. And if you'd like to remove any applications, you would come over here to your apps right from here, and you'll see here this is going to take us to all of our installed apps that we have on our system. Now what's neat about this is that you have the ability to view them in such a way that you can sort it by alphabetically if you like to, as well as changing the look of it. So currently this is set to be in grid view, but if I click on this now, you can see I can now change it to my list view. Or you can change it to grid view this way, or you can change it to tile view in this way. And of course you have the ability to always search. Now, one really great thing about working with settings now is that you can always click inside the Find a Setting, because as you may have seen already, the settings are chock full of all kinds of different options. So if you're not sure where to go for any of these things, you can very simply click on Find a Setting and start typing. So for example, if I wanted to add on a printer, I could just type out print, there it is, and you can see here, add a printer or scanner, and it takes me right to it, and I can very simply add a device from here. Okay, so it's definitely worth exploring all of these. There's really a lot to unpack here. So give it a shot. So know that Windows 11 is very customizable, allowing you to be more creative and more productive, giving you all the control.
If you're not a subscriber, click down below to subscribe so you get notified about similar videos we upload. To see the full course that this video came from, click over there. And click over there to see more videos from Simon Says It.